So the other day, Michael DeBruzzo posted something on his Facebook page. He's the guy from Canine One. Excellent, phenomenal trainer, great guy. And Michael stresses basically an ethological understanding of canines, an ethological understanding of social dominance, how dogs relate to resources is of primary importance, and I couldn't agree more fully. I think that he is just spot on about just about everything. So he posted something basically about the couch. There was a little girl who was mauled. I think it was in Florida, and it was a lab mix that hurt the little girl. And what struck out to me was the parent posted this shit on Facebook, and they used the word fur baby multiple times. We had to put fur baby down. Well, the attack occurred on the couch. The way dogs deal with conflict over resources is through violence. It's no one like violence is or aggression is a very natural behavior in dogs. No matter what anyone tells you, it's how they resolve conflict, and they're hierarchical creatures, and they don't understand equality. And if there's ambiguity there, and there isn't strong leadership, they'll settle it on their own, depending upon the individual temperament, personality, breed of the dog. And often the way they'll do it is through aggression, through violence. And that's what happened here. And of course, it came out of nowhere. No one could have predicted it, what Fur Baby did. So I was having a bad day because I've had a tough week in a lot of ways. And I wrote a really misanthropic thing that sounded kind of crazy, but I'm a little depressed right now because I run into a lot of communication issues when it comes to dogs and owners, especially first-time owners, and probably worse than that, or second-time dog owners when the first dog was easy. And it's just part of it is I can be not great with people in person just because of social anxiety, probably. Not like I'm a dick. I try. I'm actually probably too nice. But there's that, and it's just this shit isn't super. It's not engaging to people, and I give too many details, but I think the details matter. So I lose people with this stuff, and it can be frustrating. And then things don't go perfectly. If there's a problem down the line, you have to deal with it, and that's fine. I always extend myself fully to people, but basic things end up getting repeated a lot. And one of them is this topic of resources. And most of the dogs that I train, I'm honest with people, first of all. I post pictures sometimes of my dogs on furniture. A lot of times their belly's up and they're lying on me. Okay, so they're in a submissive position. It's a little bit different when you do that. But generally speaking, I debated this early on in my career, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to treat people like children. They're adults. If they can't appreciate or understand nuance, I'm not the right trainer for them. I never thought growing up like athletes had to be like some moral standard bearer. I don't think I do either. Okay? There's shit I can do that your average dog owner can't. Okay, should Butchie be sleeping in the bed with me? The only reason that matters is because there are other dogs involved. Dewey sees him sleeping in the bed with me, and Dewey cannot sleep in the bed. Okay, he has a higher level of competitive aggression. He's a naturally more dominant, aggressive dog by nature. That'll cause problems because now he sees that shit, and he's like, he's got that piece of steak. I'm supposed to have it. I'm the bigger, badder motherfucker. Now he's pissed at Butch. Okay, it can create conflict. So that if I had it all to do over again, none of them would ever be on the couch. He'd never be on the bed. That being said, this is not a dog with even an ounce of competitive aggression. He's a highly docile dog. He listens to me. He's sweet. He's my sweetest dog. My best all-around dog in terms of temperament. And I don't know. I like having him in the fucking bed. Like he helps me sleep with friends. I like, sometimes I'm too busy to give him as much stuff as I feel I should. And I want to be around my dogs as much as possible, so I don't think probably sounds like bullshit, but it's for him, not for me, because I want him to be near me as much as possible, because they don't have a lot of time on this earth. So, so I posted pictures of dogs on beds and furniture and all that stuff, and usually I'll write like, look, and I say this to all my clients anyway, if you're having any problems with your dog should never be on furniture and should never, ever be, the bed is even worse, because then you get into this weird, creepy, like possessive relational thing, because they're right there with you, and like, eh. So if there are ever children in the picture, I always say absolutely not. So Maisie's owner for a long used to sleep with Maisie in the bed. I said you can't, because there might be grandchildren in the picture down the road. You know, I sleep with Butchie. I told them, I said, look, I sleep with Butchie, but that's me. I go, you know, I'm kind of a savage by nature. Grew up around a bunch of savages in the Boston area. You know, fucking dads like Bill Parcells. Like, you know, so it's different, and they're not, you know, but still it can cause internal problems with the dogs, this kind of stuff. And it doesn't necessarily devalue me, but it's not good for them with certain dogs. But I know the difference between a dog that I can do that with and a dog I can't. And also, there's stuff that I can do with any dog, really, that your average owner can't, because I do this shit for a living. All right? So if people can't appreciate that nuance, I'm sorry, but the real rule should be, if you have kids, never on the furniture. If there are kids down the line, dogs never on the furniture, never on the couch. This is a coveted resource. Consider it basically like a piece of steak. You got a kid, now there's a piece of steak and a dog, and they're competing over it, essentially. That's what it is. If you don't believe me, then I'm not interested in trying to convince you. You know? I mean, if you want, I can go into more detail if anyone has questions. But either you believe this shit about resources with dogs, believe the concept of social dominance, which is first right to limited resources and right to discipline, or you don't. And I'm not really interested in convincing people that are incredulous. You can easily create a competitive dynamic. So I'm going to continue putting out photos of Butchie doing this with me. And if you think that gives you license to do the same thing when your dog is highly reactive with you walking down the street, or you're a female owner and you got a pit or a Rottie that like lunges at people or other dogs because they're protecting you like a piece of meat. Look, I don't really know what to tell you. You're looking for license. You're looking for an excuse to do something that's easy. And I'm not here to motivate people. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to say it dryly. And you're adults, and if, you know, helping your dog is a motivation enough, then I'm not, me yelling at you or giving you a hard time isn't going to change the fact that really you're not caring enough to really alter how you live with your dog, which is necessary to alter their behavior. So the couch, the bed, all that shit, it's a nuanced issue. It is. But it comes into focus a lot more clearly once you own 3+ dogs. Then you start to see what they really are as a species, how they relate to resources, and how it can create conflict internally. And also, you know, there are very few naturally dominant dogs, right, out there. But some are more socially ascendant than others. Okay, so your dog might be fully subordinate to you. Wouldn't even think of fucking with you. No matter what, you could give him his own throne. It wouldn't matter. But guess what? He might feel emboldened enough to challenge your child, or the smaller, weaker dog, or whatever. Okay, that happens. So, you know, if you've got one dog now, in case you get another dog in the future, or you might have a kid or a grandkid, the conservative thing to do is to keep them off the couch. Otherwise, you could do invite only. And if you've ever experienced your dog giving you a hard time about getting off the couch, like growling, that dog is permanently exiled from the couch. And the bed, you should really never do, because it can create separation anxiety and all kinds of stuff like that. So the reason I'm making this, I saw the thing on Facebook and I looked afterwards, and there was a fucking picture of a little dog on a sofa above Willie Pep, you know. And I was like, oh, they don't look good. But, look, I know the individual players involved. You understand? And if a photo is enough to make you think, oh, well, I could do that. I'm not here to talk to children. You understand? Like, understand and appreciate nuance, or you're just looking for an excuse, in which case I won't talk you out of it anyway. Okay? So that's it. And I explain all this shit to my clients in great detail. So I don't know if this video is an apology or what, but really I want people to understand that the furniture and the bed, that stuff is real. The way they relate to resources is real, and there are things that I can honestly do as a trainer that you can't. And know the individual dog and the temperament involved, but also understand that even if your dog's great right now, you might want to get a second dog down the line. And I'll tell you right now, if I had all to do over again, none of my dogs would ever be on the furniture or the bed, ever. Never would have happened, and it would have been a bummer because I love this guy, I love sleeping with him, but it's just one of those things that I have to, now it's like one extra thing I got to pay attention to that could cause problems, because Dewey's a real deal. He's got circumscribed dominance, and that's with other dogs, other male dogs. He's not looking for trouble, but like he's like cocky about it, like a shot caller in prison. What you doing in my seat, I say? So look, I didn't know at the time I was going to bring that into my home, and now I do. So I wish I had done it differently. So learn from my mistakes, and also don't take something you picture on social media from a trainer and be like, first of all, one other guy on the thread was like, I delete and block trainers I see this shit with every day. You know what, guys? Look, I'm not a fucking role model. You understand? Like, if I want to put something on fucking Facebook or Instagram, I'll do it. And by the way, the reason I'm on a pseudonym on Facebook is so I can say what I want. But like, and if you've worked with me, I've explained all this to you already. And if just seeing, well, Willie Pep was on the couch next to Butchie, that was fine. Doesn't matter what I say. You're going to do whatever the fuck you want anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to just like treat you like children and say, we can't let them see that. But the fact is that I made a mistake initially 10 years ago, and it's carried over. Not a huge deal, but it makes probably life a little bit more complicated in certain ways, and creates a potential point of conflict that shouldn't be there. So that's it. Learn from my mistakes and be conservative on this issue. Especially, look, if you're coming to me, your dog has had some kind of problem, right? They're not missing out on much with the couch, There are other things. If you put a doggy bed next to the couch, you can lay next to them. You can lay down on the floor with them, man. I do that all the time with my dogs. But it's like they can lead great lives without the dog park. And by the way, that's my biggest problem. People just don't believe me about dog parks for some reason. They get the couch better, but for some reason the park stuff hasn't been communicated, and that's way worse in my opinion. But anyway, the people struggle with this, so I would advise you strongly to just avoid it altogether. And really, it has to be invite only though, okay, at minimum. So those are the rules, and that's a good way to think about it.